So now vertically, there's a lot here. And what I typically do, I do run the click from my computer. So I like to have the songs listed here, like that we're gonna do for a particular weekend or a prayer set. I'll have those here so that it's easy just to kick those off. I usually just kick it off by clicking on it, or a lot of times I actually key those in. So I'll say like put that at 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I know that we're doing the first song, I just click 1 on my keyboard, click 2, click 3, click 4, and then that kind of cycles us through those. Okay, so let's look at this master channel here and what I kind of have here. So a couple of red signals up here, which is, kind of interesting, but I have them hotkeyed. So this first one is a slash, and then this other one is a Z. They could be anything, but let's say I'm playing a patch or a loop, and let me just pull up like something like a drone or something, and for some reason, I have the sustain pedal down when I turn it off because I'm switching sounds or something, so it kind of locks it in. And what I like to do is I'll just hit that slash key. What it does is you have the ability to just hit this up here, hit stop, right? So you're sitting there and it's locked. If you hit stop here twice, that'll stop it, but that also stops the click. So if I'm playing like this and it's got this pad on it, and maybe it's for a chorus, and then right here we go back to the verse, I'll click off and then go to the verse. But see, what I've done is I've actually happened to have my pedal down, and so that note gets sustained. Now I'll probably show you one day how I have this on my controller board, but I actually have a button here that will actually click this right here. So if I happen to be playing a sound, and then we go back to the verse and I turn it off, you see it latched it in, right? And if I recognize I'm going to do that, I'll just hit that button. And so what is this actually doing here? If you look at this, when we pull in the envelopes, you'll notice that I have the hold pedal, and all I'm doing is I'm taking it from 127 down to 0. So I'm basically simulating me taking my foot off of the pedal. So if I am playing something, I don't have to push stop here and then stop the click and try to figure out how to get it to go down, or even mess with my volume. I can just hit this, basically press the pedal and took it off, like so quickly. So if I have this latched like that, I'll just hit it with my key here. You see it did the same thing. So now if I'm playing like a chorus of something, go back and I happen to lock it in, so that's why I have that set up like that. And what I have over here is keyed in is that slash key on my keyboard. It's at the lower right. So if something drastically goes wrong, even with any of these sounds, and I just don't know what sound it is, or it's multiple sounds, I can hit that, and you'll notice every one of those across the top light up. It simulates a pedal press and depressing of all of those so that they'll all stop playing. So if anything kind of drastically goes wrong, I can just hit this and it will stop anything that's playing. It's kind of like my, you know, emergency stop without stopping the click, so that the rest of the band can continue playing, and it makes it much less obvious to everyone else that's happening. And then I have this one here, which does kind of a very similar thing. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. What that one did is basically it stops all of the clips at the end of a measure instead of immediately. This one will stop it immediately. So that's that. Then and these everything. So these two things I just keep like that all the time. And then the next thing here is I will typically set up the set list. So down here at the bottom, I have a bunch of songs that we do, and I will just choose one of these. Like I'll pick one. I'll just find the ones that we're doing in our set list, and then I'll copy them and paste them up here. And then I typically will just run these by clicking on them, or I'll key them in like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, based on the first song, second song, third song, fourth song or something. And that way I can just hit my keyboard to transition between songs. All right, so that'll change every week, and I just kind of set that up every time I play. And then I just resave this set list and override it. And then I also have a bunch of cycles and other things that I like to save. Sometimes I have supporting material. Like right here, I happen to record these things live and never moved them over as pre-recorded loops. But if I were to kind of do this cycle, it might start out with something like this. I probably have this kick here. Some other sounds, and I would turn them on and off as appropriate. And then I would still play live over all of this. So you might bring in a piano or a bell. So I'll have my cycles and my set list and everything set up there. So that's kind of how I set up this column here. So I think that gives you guys a kind of a pretty good idea of how I have everything laid out. I have 16 different sounds, I have loops, and I have the ability to do some live recording. There will be a couple other videos coming out where I'll dive a little deeper into some of these certain aspects of how I actually do some of this. Maybe I'll just demonstrate my entire workflow in one of these, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed that, and until next time.